is a presentation of Real Wise Productions and Comey Media Incorporated. Trevor Noah big ups Busta Rhymes at the Grammys. And we finally remember Trugoy the Dove of De La Soul. Next on Mentality. Welcome to another edition and installment of Mentality, the place where we are iron sharpening iron in the realm of love, mental health, entrepreneurship, and brotherhood. I am one of the co-hosts of the show, Cole Johnson, and I am joined as always by the other co-host, Mr. Wize El Jefe. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. I can't complain, man. So many things going on. Life is good, man. Life is good.
Now, this is where we touch on news that affects men, because this is a program for men, about men, and toward men. And this focuses on the effect of George Floyd in the boardroom. So the S&P 100 has said that the greatest progress has been made among Black men in the realm of being CEOs in companies ever since his death, which, of course, was around the end of May in 2020. 14 Black men have been named executive officers in 2020. And 2 years later, 19 of them were increased by more than a third in terms of their pay. 2 of those top executives were recently tapped to lead large energy producers. That's Womack of Southern Company and Calvin Butler Jr. of Exelon. My question to you in this regard is as follows. With these companies, do you believe this is a genuine move of change, or is this more of a reflected move of society by pressuring these companies to make said changes?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I have no doubt that these men are capable of doing the jobs, and they wouldn't just promote them just to promote them because they're Black.
Right.
But then at the same time, they probably got looked at because of all the situations of everything going on. And so it kind of, I think it's just a little bit of both of it, because you have a lot of qualified Black men that can run companies and be CEOs and do the job. We just never had the opportunity. Right. And if the George Floyd situation made it possible for it to happen, then so be it. But I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both as well. And do I see that this will continue to change? Maybe,
Hope
but
so.
hope so. Definitely hope so. And along with this, I'm hoping that we, as men, that we take these positions and we don't embody some of the poisonous things that we've seen in other companies when people say, well, a man is running it. I hope that we have learned, compassion toward, toward others when we get to the position of leadership, which of course, one of the reasons why we as men are supposed to actually be the way we are is that not only do we show strength in times of trouble, but we also show compassion in times of need. And if you can combine the two, that is when you could be the most effective of leaders. And hopefully that we're seeing that change reflected with these men who are being promoted to these high end or high or higher up positions. We shall see. Hopefully that it will be something that will be reflected as a change outside as well as inside with the people who are qualified to do the job. Now, this is a good news, bad news type of situation. The good news is cancer deaths amongst the U.S. Population is declining. The bad news, though, is prostate cancer is making a rise in this at the same time. Now, they say that the rate of cancer deaths continued to decline ever since 1991. It's an estimated of 3.8 million lives saved during, according to the American Cancer Society. But they say that the individual trends within the overall success story, it highlights the struggle to find the best ways to prevent and detect and treat cancer for all Americans, chiefly amongst them prostate cancer. And guess who suffers mostly from prostate cancer? Yes, people who look like us.
Yes.
So my question to you with that is, hearing this news, what does this signal for you?
I need to go get checked out. Like, you know what it is, man.
Yes, sir.
And I'm actually due for my colonoscopy soon.
Mhm.
That's something in our community that's men, for some reason, men find it embarrassing that they need to go to get a colonoscopy or go get checked out because they associate with them going to through your colon, they have to go through your butthole, and then all the. It's just stupidness, man. It's stupidness on our part.
It is.
Go get checked out. Once
Mhm.
you put, listen, once you're over 40, definitely go check out. At first, at one point, it was over 50.
Right.
Once you reach your 40s, I suggest you go check it out. It's listen. All you're doing is helping prevent it from affecting you. You
Yeah.
never know. It might come and you might catch it detected early, but
Right.
definitely get yourself checked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely annual checkings is definitely necessary. I mean, women have to do this with mammograms every year from the age of 40 on up. And yeah, I remember hearing it when I was approaching 40 from the time I was 38. And I would hear this said to me personally every month for that 2 year span until I turned 40. You're gonna have to do annual check. You have to do an annual checkup. You know that, right? You know that, right? You know that, right? So yeah, my most recent one was December, and everything checks out fine in that department. But I know that at 50, there's going to be even more intense checkings that would be necessary, and of course,
Yeah,
prostate cancer is probably going to be one of them where that's going to be even more of a checkup because they say when you're above 50, the chances increase for you to get it. So yeah, I mean, you could have said it better, and I could have said it better myself. I should say, yeah, definitely get checked out. And I think that point might be hammered home in this episode for
yeah,
some strange reason. I don't know why I say that, but I agree. Early detection is definitely necessary because of continuous checkups.
definitely.
Now, this story is interesting. So they did a mouse study, and this mouse study was done to find a short-term birth control pill for men. Oh, okay. So researchers think that they discovered a way to create a contraceptive pill for men by inhibiting an enzyme that's key to a sperm's ability to swim. Now, They say if proven to work in humans, such an approach would be a tremendous advancement for the field. But here we are in an era where we keep hearing a lot of erectile dysfunction type of things, and we see pills for that. Now we're possibly going to see pills for the opposite direction. All right. If such a pill comes out in the market, would you take it?
No, but Nick Cannon does.
Oh my
Too soon. Now listen.
No, that isn't too soon.
That brother got too many kids, man.
Oh my goodness, that dude is humping so many women. He's gonna have a football team by the time he's 45. I'm like,
bro, he's got 11 already. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. And I don't know how many baby mamas.
Yeah. It was like for some reason Mariah must have messed with his head. It's like, oh man, okay, I got married to Mariah. Oh, no, I ain't gonna be married no more.
I'm just gonna populate the world myself.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. It's like I'm gonna be a Mandingo comedian warrior. Oh, goodness gracious.
But there's some men that need to take it, man. Like,
yeah,
there are some men out there that should not be producing mini dems.
Mini dems.
Yeah,
Nick Cannon's one. Yeah, Nick Cannon's one. Antonio Cromartie is another.
But listen, he can afford to take care of him. So
yeah, as long as that's off the table, that's fine. And yeah, both of them can. So.
Okay, so all right. So it's funny that we talk about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just read an article, and there's this TikToker. She has 11 kids.
Oh Lord!
By 8 different baby daddies. And they, of course, TikTok was really, really abusive or whatever you want. They just laid into it because she has 11 kids and she has 8 baby daddies. I'm not to judge. I'm not one to judge, because we just brought up Nick Cannon, and he has 11 kids, and God knows how many baby mamas he has.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a double standard.
Yeah, it is a double standard. It is. On this show, it's not, because I will say this.
This show's all about men's, but
yeah, that's right. Because I will say this straight up. The woman that's showing,
that's what we were saying.
Yeah, the woman that's showing hoish tendencies, and Nick Cannon is showing complete hoe tendencies himself.
Yes, he is definitely showing hoe tendencies. Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
But the thing is, she wants to have like 19 more. She wants even 30.
So she wants to have a classroom.
I don't know what she wants to have, but that's like,
oh Lord have mercy. Okay. We're just getting started. Mentality will return. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. What's on E. Dicker's mind?
A and B, I'm going to see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. You called the cops on me? I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say and is unabashed to say it. What's on E. Digger's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. Welcome back to Mentality, a show that is made for all men. With Wize and Cole, I'm Cole Johnson, and now I get to talk about someone that I hold very near and dear in terms of you gots to be kidding me, and that is Chicago's own Robert Kelly, otherwise known as R. Kelly. Now, why we're talking about R. Kelly here? Well, welcome to the debut segment called Standing in the Gap. Federal prosecutors, as of this recording, this past Thursday, just about asked the judge to give O.R. Kelly 25 more years of prison. He already has 30, but these would be 25 more years for his child pornography stuff and enticement convictions last year in Chicago. Now, he already is going to be serving some years in the New York case. Now, he's 56. He wouldn't be eligible for release until he's on 100 if this were to happen. That is if both the 25-year sentence in Chicago and the 30-year sentence in New York were to be fully served. Now, in their sentencing recommendation filed this past Thursday in U.S. District Court in Chicago, the prosecutors described R. Kelly's behavior as sadistic, calling him a serial sexual predator with no remorse who poses a serious danger to society. And they say they want to say that the only way to ensure that he does not reoffend is to impose a sentence that will keep him in prison the rest of his natural born life. Now, I bring up this subject matter because I look at him as one of those cautionary tales for what we did not do as a community. So before I even get to that part, what are your overall feelings about the one I call Robert Kelly?
Okay. So let's be honest. He ain't the only one. This
I love you for this.
Even when I was growing up, man, the dudes on my street, the hustlers on my street had all the young chicks loving them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the young chicks they wanted the older guy who had money and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't see what he sees in little girls because me personally, I love older women. But it's not only him. There's many wealthy men that enjoy these young girls. It's come on, look how many politicians, celebrities, Leonardo DiCaprio, one of them, 40-something-year-old dating a 19-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell do you have in common with a 19-year-old? Seriously, what can she talk to you about life? I like I don't understand this. What does it make you feel younger?
See, I'm so glad that you mentioned others because I did not pick Robert Kelly because of black. I picked him because of crime. Because there are many other men, and yeah, you mentioned a couple. I'll mention a couple more. I mean, Elvis Presley met Priscilla.
When she was a teenager.
Yeah, Priscilla was a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Jim was
Yeah,
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. While he was an adult himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not a problem which is new. This is a
It's
time
been going on for years,
and it's been going on for years. It's just that I think in this particular case, this kept going on with this one particular person unchecked for so long. And the messed up part is the signs were there.
Why? I don't understand, but why? Why
Yeah.
was he going unchecked?
Yeah.
Because there was more people taking and partake. There was more people partaking and stuff like that. That's why it was going unchecked.
See, you led me right into the question I wanted to ask next, which is, should his entourage also be held accountable for these heinous crimes too?
The record label, everybody who hung out with him, anybody who witnessed it, everyone, because the record label knew.
Yep.
People who hung out with him, his bodyguards, everybody knew. Probably his even mama knew.
And unfortunately, she's unfortunately passed away, but she probably did know. That's the scary part about that.
But we need to stop acting like it's an isolated incident. Like R. Kelly was the only one doing it.
It's not.
It's many of these celebrities doing it. Supposedly one of my favorite MCs. Well, my favorite MC supposedly had his way with a young Foxy Brown.
It's The Rock. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Allegedly, we got to put that out because we don't want to get we don't want to get a Brett Favre on us.
Yes, I don't want Jigga to come and sue us and be like, what the heck?
We don't want to get allegedly.
Yes, because also he allegedly dated Beyonce before she was 18 too. So yeah. Here's the problem I have. So you called it out. With the girls, there's an allure of they want to have what they deem a mature, older man because he can afford anything.
He can provide for them,
and can provide for them. At the same time, these older gentlemen, they think that, well, they really wouldn't want to have someone who's around their age or even older, because that would mean that they would be held accountable for stuff. But if they trend younger, then that means they can have the run of whatever they can, and they could do whatever is necessary. Here's another one. And this guy, it was so messed up. This guy went from a woman 17 years older to a girl that was 17 years younger. That's Marvin Gaye. So his first wife was 17 years older, the older sister of Berry Gordy, Gwen. And so in the midst of their relationship crumbling, divorcing, he was still married to Gwen. He meets up with Janice when he sings Let's Get It On in the studio. Marvin was 34. Janice was then 17. And it's been told that they went out and they even had sex before Janice turned 18. Now, mind you, just to set the stage, when he did Let's Get It On, he recorded it probably about like late winter, early spring 1973. So just to give you the understanding of the landscape of things, that was there, and it was, and she got a chance to be in the studio because she was a daughter of an executive who was a friend of the person who co-produced the Let's Get It On album which was Ed Townsend. But yes, this is not an isolated incident, and this isn't something that just happened only between 1994 and now. No, this has been going on.
Yep, it has. It has.
So then I have to ask this. I have to pose this. So we see this going on. We're probably seeing this going on today. I can't say I'm seeing it personally right now because I just simply don't affiliate with idiots like that.
Yes.
But if there was someone who did, how can we better protect our teenage and even pre-teenage girls as men? Because you almost have to say you have to say pre-teenage in the case of R. Kelly, because in the documentary of Surviving R. Kelly, he was running into girls as young as the age of 12.
But the crazy thing is, because it's not funny, the crazy thing is people are feeding these girls to him. People in these girls' families were feeding these girls to R. Kelly for money.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of it, they have the you hear these stories of the adults in the adults in the room see the girl, and the girl has the fancy of wanting to be a star and a celebrity herself. She might have some pipes. She wants to actually record with R. Kelly. Now, doesn't really have any type of romantic anything that they want to have. They want to have any dalliances with them. But then it turns into that. And you have the adults who are supposed to protect these children, and they don't. It's like, okay, it's basically like the Cuba Gooding Jr. character in Jerry Maguire. Show me the money.
Yep.
And it's ruining these girls. I mean, right and left. These girls are being literally ruined right before our very eyes. And we wonder why we hear so many women say men are dogs, because not only are they feeling this way from the male, the adult male who is having inappropriate sex with her, but the friends of this guy and and supposedly the male figures that's supposed to be the ones protecting her or having her slip down the slide to this debauchery.
Yeah.
And that's what I find utterly disgusting. And I'm like, man, we got to protect these girls. As men, we have to protect these girls, because they don't supposed to run into that type of danger. That's why we were created. We're created to protect that from happening. And I'll say this, we, in a collective general sense, have completely dropped the ball and failed. And it's unfortunate that's the case. Mentality will be back in 2 and 2. Quinn.
Moment of clarity. I haven't watched BET in years.
KP.
Drake needs to come back with another triple platinum album.
E Digger.
And then you have Ray J. Like, I can't stand that River Cricket.
The Guru.
Okay, the level of crack she's smoking, I don't want it.
BS3 Network proudly presents the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, where from card tips to hot topics to meep of the week, anything goes. Live every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Central. Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 Network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready.
The Lunch Break with AJ, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at noon Central. With Wize and Cole, I'm Cole Johnson. And we talked about the bad with R. Kelly. Let's talk about the good, because we got the big
That's good.
I said we talked about the bad with R. Kelly. Let's talk about the good.
Okay. Oh.
No. But yeah, let's talk about the good. We witnessed brotherly love, or at least we witnessed fan to brotherly love. I think that's the best way to put it. And what do I mean? Well, we're debuting another segment. It's called NUFF RESPECT.
What it is right now. 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 And let me tell you what it is right now. Let me step up and handle my biz right now. Did you see this match tonight?
Oh, God.
Did you see this match tonight?
Thank you. Yes,
that was everything. That was everything.
Thank you, Trevor. It's crazy because we both Trevors.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Right now, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. I was his biggest fan. I didn't know that. And then I read. We didn't even have the internet back then.
Word.
I had to find that old school. Trevor Smith Jr. Trevor Smith Jr.
Yes. I am Trevor Smith Jr.
That's right.
Proudly.
That's right. I was like, I'll be his backup whenever he needs it. Whenever he needs it. Right here. If Splip is busy, you call me. You know that. You call me. Hey, yo, we keeping it coming, keeping it moving, keeping it wild, and we getting the paper. Let's keep it
chill, stacking and piling, and now we happy and smiling, because now we living good.
Doing it is how we be moving it in the hood. Wrong with me on my doubling one, double the biggest. Turning you up, one for my
no doubt.
Keeping it busy, make all my women
all shine.
You make you take up and see through. While you picking around the corner, baby, I see
you.
Tell me what you gonna do. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna have you running until your drop. Take me up and down. Yo, let me take you to the top. You never stop, my.
All my up in the front say,
oh man, thank you. Always, bust a bus.
Yeah, that took place at the Grammys. Trevor Noah just straight up acting like a fan, but doing it in a man way, big upping Busta Rhymes. That was one of the greatest expressions of brotherly love I've seen in quite some time.
It just goes to show you celebrities can be fans as well.
Yeah, and that was really refreshing. I was like, cool. Here's a celebrity being a fan of someone that I highly respect, because I highly respect.
I'm a big Busta Rhymes fan.
Yeah, I love Busta Bus. So besides Jigga, besides Hova, what rapper would you be like this toward?
Ooh. Busta, definitely.
Yeah.
Nas.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Fat Joe. I got enough respect for Fat Joe from where he comes from.
The funny thing is, I like his music, but I love his energy more than I love his music. I like his music.
You know what? His music has evolved. From Flow Joe to Make It Rain and Lean Back and all that. So
right.
Yeah. So
yeah. Huh.
But I'm sure there's quite other.
Yeah.
Like Al definitely would be, because I remember hearing Bad for the first time.
Oh man. Wore that tape out.
Yeah. I remember that video, just the beginning of it. And then at the end, when he goes over the radio and talking about, it's so much. There's so many moments that, and so many musicians, because hip hop artists are musicians.
They are.
that Kane, Big Daddy Kane would definitely be one of them.
Same with me. Kane would be that way, especially how he's such a huge hip hop fan himself.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I would definitely be that way with Kane.
So Kane definitely would be one of them. It's just so many to name.
Ooh, man. You named about 3 that I would do the same too. LL, Nas, and Kane for sure. Busta definitely. For me, Chuck D for sure. I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's someone that's telling me. Even your hometown boy, Scarface. I can't forget. The Diary is one of my top 5 albums of all time. The Diary, it to me is a class. It's one of the classics of hip hop. So that, like I said, is one of my top 5 albums of all time.
He's another one I definitely do that too, because he's a down to earth brother. I didn't get a chance to meet him yet. I came close to, but I didn't get a chance to really meet him. But yeah, down to earth guy. Yeah, and I definitely would be. Yeah. Scarface would definitely be one.
Yeah.
To see Chuck D, KRS. I definitely do that with him. Rakim.
The God. Yeah. God MC.
Yeah. Who else? I probably, if Tupac were alive, I probably would do it with him.
I'm a Biggie guy, so it would be Biggie.
I'm both.
I like Pac. I like Pac. But I'm a Brooklyn boy.
Of course, you got to rep for Brooklyn. Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't say I'm not saying I wouldn't act that way if I was met Pac either. But no, Pac, I love Pac. I love his music.
But it's like what you said with me. I have a special kinship to Scarface because he grew up in H-Town, so did I. I totally understand that. You grew up in Brooklyn, so did Biggie. I totally understand that. Especially when you got somebody who can speak or who spoke to the exact conditions you lived in. Oh yeah. How could you not? Totally understand that. And yeah, I love Biggie. I can't listen to You Can't Stand the Rain because I would listen to Biggie's verses for an hour.
Oh, that was one of the fire verses on that.
Yeah. I know who I would do that with. I probably would do it with Tyson if I met him.
Oh, I think
And it wouldn't be I'd be scared of him. It'd be like I'm in awe of him because it's like because I understand the dude's a warrior, but the one thing that I really love about him is that he has such an expansive knowledge of so many different things. And it would be like, okay, pick the topic. Obviously boxing, but pick the topic. History, and in your realm, weed, because he grows marijuana and sells it.
Hot boxing with Mike Tyson,
yeah. So podcasting. I mean, you just go with so many realms with him. I probably would have to if we record it. I probably had to say, look, Mike, can we turn the recording button off real quick? Dude, would you had Trevor Burbick on skates? I would be like that to him. Later, we will have Thoughts from the Throne. This is Mentality. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts.
If I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it,
Get it from God.
Live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday.
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. Well, we are running into the home stretch of mentality. I am Cole Johnson. I'm joined by Wize El Jefe. Of course, we talked about R. Kelly. We talked about Trevor Noah and Busta Rhymes. We even talked about a male contraceptive. Yeah, and if you missed that, rewind that.
Catch the replay.
That's right. Catch the replay, please. Yeah, please catch the replay.
Please, yes.
But other than like, sharing, and subscribing this video that you've seen as well, we have to talk about one other important issue before we go. Now, I remember the first time I heard his voice. It went plug one, plug two, plug one, plug two, plug one, plug two, plug one. Now, of course, in that case, he was plug two.
Yep.
He went under the stage name of Trugoy The Dove. He also went by Dave. And he unfortunately passed away on Super Bowl Sunday at the age of 54. And I knew that he went to school in Long Island. That much I did know. I did not know that he actually was born in Brooklyn. I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, okay. So he wasn't straight from Long Island. All right. Yeah, so
it's good. You know what? There was a time in the 80s that a lot of people of color started moving to Long Island. They wanted to escape the city.
Right.
I'm saying, so they wanted to get away from the crack epidemic and they moved, and then so you got a lot of people that left New York City that went to Long Island, and that's where a lot of them were raised. But we've lost a lot of great hip hop artists in the last couple of years. We've lost DMX, we've lost Biz Markie, we've lost so many talented people.
Yeah.
And again, it's just it touches on something we discussed earlier in the episode with taking better care of ourselves. That's something in the Black and brown community that we don't do. It's something we don't go see the doctor. That's something that has to change.
Great. Why don't I have the earworm of Kumo D's go see the doctor? But of course, that's for different reasons. But I'm glad you actually touched on that, because Trugoy's death was, even though it wasn't listed as a cause, but it probably was a contributing factor. He had congestive heart conditions. And, it makes me ask, why, will will we take heed, to seeing his death? Because he didn't die of cancer. He didn't die of violence. It was just basically a self-care type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So will we actually take heed to that and say, man, I got to take better care of myself, man, because that dude didn't look like he was near senior citizen age. And of course he wasn't. He was 54. And we're not much younger than he is.
No.
Or was.
Listen, I've honestly, I've seen more of my friends in the last few years die of heart attacks.
Jeez, man.
In their 40s. When you would think that when growing up, a lot of the people that died of heart attacks was in 60s, 70s, 80s.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now you're getting young men, early 30s, late 30s, 40s, dying of heart attacks.
Man,
what are we doing? What is going on out there?
Yeah.
What? And I know I have to change the way I eat.
Same.
I know I have to change my diet. And this is just showing me like, hey, dude, you need to change you with how you live. And I go to the doctor. I make sure I go take my annual physical and stuff, but it's just my eating habits. I have to change them.
Yeah.
And I have to do some more exercise. And I don't mean I gotta go to the gym 5 hours a day. No, there's simple exercises I could do that'll help me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm calling myself on the carpet. I got to do the same, both with the eating habits, which I tried to turn a corner on. Like last night I had salad. I'm trying to turn a corner on that. And the exercising and yeah.
Yeah. It's something we know we need to correct. But when are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
I'm saying we wait until we have a real serious scare to change it.
Yeah.
Or do we change it now?
Yeah. Because I can actually tell you, man, because my mind was all about, okay, Super Bowl is later on today. That day, I mean. All right, I'm geared up for it. And then it was like sometime early in the afternoon, one of my boys said, man, Trugoy passed away. I was like, what? Like, no, you can't be talking about Plug 2. You can't be talking about no. I'm like, oh man. And then of course I, read up more on his stuff, and I was like, oh man, he suffered from congestive heart condition for years. I'm like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I pretty much know what that's about. Well, okay. Well, I don't have to ask how his death will impact you, because you pretty much said it. So did I, and I'm thinking the same thing. With DMX and Biz. And I'm like, man, these dudes are barely 50.
And we're getting there, and we're getting there,
and we're getting
and
there.
that should really be a wake up call for us. It should really be a wake up call for us.
And Sunday was for me. And I think that's why I wanted to put it in here. Sunday was that for me. I was like, this dude is maybe 5 years older than me. And he looks similar to me. And he
body size and everything, yeah.
But body size and all. Size and all. And dead. I'm like, doggone. Okay, I got to change. I got to. Yeah. I mean, it put that thought in me right then and there, and it's been with me. I won't call it a pall, but that thought has been with me ever since Sunday.
Yeah,
ever since Sunday. But to, I guess, make it a little more lighthearted, if you had to think of your favorite song from De La Soul, what would it be? Because there's so many for me too.
Oh man, I don't even know, man. Like, there's so much. Like, I gotta. Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. Me, myself, and I could think is one of them.
Yeah, I like that.
Just me, myself, and I.
That was a good flip of Knee Deep by Parliament. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. I don't think Buddy was their song, but I think that's just more of a native tongue song.
Yeah, they get credit for being the main artist for it, but it really wasn't a De La song. You're right. It was a posse cut. It was a native tongue song.
Yeah. But it was cool. They got so many hits, man. Like they just got so many songs that I enjoy so much.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely enjoyed.
Dave Trugoy, which was yogurt spelled backwards. I like that. My man, thank you. Thank you for showing a brother who was then in Southwest Houston. Thank you for showing me that you can be yourself, be unapologetically me, and it's still good. That's what you showed, and I love you for it. Thank you. Thank you, man. I can't say anything else but thank you. Thank you for your life, because guaranteed it was well worth it. Thank you, brother. Cheers to you. And now it's time for thoughts from the throne.
All right, so if you catch the latest episode that's coming out of actually tonight of Poppy J and Wize and Jefe, if you catch today's episode, well, when you see this episode, it'll actually be aired already. But we discussed why Western men are marrying women from Europe and Asia and not marrying Western women. And this guy said an example was because these Western women want to be independent. They want a traditional man, but they don't want to be traditional women. And listen, I'm married to an independent, strong woman, but she does have traditional values. And that's something I feel that we're lacking in this country now, as far as relationships. It's okay for you to be with an independent woman. It's great. But like I said, I'm married to a boss chick. But you're kind of, I'm feeling like we're under attack as men. I'm feeling like you want us to hold up traditional values, but yet we don't get that kind of respect. And that's something we really need to work on. I have no problems with boss chicks. I don't have no problems with, like I said, I'm married to one. But if you want a traditional man, then you need to provide some traditional values yourself. And that's just what I have on. That's something I just felt like I needed to express.
I just kept getting hit with a lot of grief, and seeing Trugoy's death, it reminded me of a death of another friend of mine. He was the type that he would big up anything that you did. He was the biggest cheerleader of anybody. I mean, if you were a good, sound mind, body, and spirit, he would embrace you with his whole heart and body. And when I first met him, I thought this cat was strange and weird. But I had to push that aside and look and see for myself what this caliber of man was. And this caliber of man was rich. And I don't mean rich in pockets, although he did have some money. I don't mean that. I mean rich in spirit. When I got the news of his death, it was a shock to me because he fell under, I think it was due to a heart attack, and he was at the hospital, but everything seemed to be fine from what we understood. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, we hear that he died from pneumonia. It was a shock to my system. And that's now been 6 years later, and the system is still shocked. So whenever I do this show, Derek, it's always for you. I love you, brother, and thank you for showing me what it means to love a brother and how to love one. It is because of you that a platform like this exists. And those are Thoughts from the Throne. All right, sir. Anything else before we head on out?
No. I thought it was a pretty good show today.
I think it was a pretty good show too. And yes, go ahead and check out Poppy J and Wize. They come on every Friday, 9 Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, on the BS3 network. You can probably catch it on the BS3 network YouTube channel as well.
Yeah,
and you will do yourself a huge service if you did.
Definitely.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for liking and sharing and subscribing and telling a friend about this show that is for men, about men, and directed toward men. For Wize El Jefe, I'm Cole Johnson. And as always, in parting, our secret technique is that we always speak with mentality. See you next time.
That's 100.